Middle East is experiencing some of its most fragile days. The world's hotspot is truly being drawn into a vortex of violence, with no end in sight. At the center of this raging fire is Israel. And as Netanyahu once mentioned about his country being in a very tough neighborhood, Israel is indeed surrounded. While Hamas is the direct adversary of Israel in Gaza at this time, there are numerous threats outside Israel's borders waiting to strike. One of the most prominent forces expressing clear hostility towards Israel comes from the north. They are known as Hezbollah. In fact, this is an extremist group that emerged from Israel's own mistakes in the past. Today, let's join the World Explainer to explore this organization and its true objectives. The tragedy of a prosperous nation. What does Lebanon look like in the eyes of the international community? A country that is gradually deteriorating and impoverished. Amidst the wealthy and prosperous Middle East, the people of this nation are increasingly struggling. Lebanon has witnessed a prolonged wave of hyperinflation over the past few years, with rates of 155% in 2021, 171.2% in 2022, and 190% in February 2023. However, there was a time when Lebanon was a wealthy and prosperous country, with its capital Beirut being regarded as the diamond in the desert. It's no coincidence that Lebanon was called the Switzerland of the Middle East. This was not only due to its wealth, but also because Lebanon was a central distribution hub in the Eastern Middle East and a banking nexus. The Lebanese people were affluent and beautiful, in stark contrast to the scarcity seen in neighboring countries. Around 2 million Lebanese lived comfortably and prosperously. This lifestyle was completely different from that of their neighbors in Syria and Palestine. This stark contrast made Lebanon appear as a beautiful oasis amid a barren desert. However, everything changed due to a fateful event beyond the Lebanese people's control. While the Lebanese were enjoying their comfortable lives, a fire was slowly igniting to the south. The Jewish state was established on land that formerly belonged to Palestine. Since then, relentless wars in the Holy Land have gradually turned this land in the south of Lebanon into a region hostile to peace. As you may know, these conflicts have forced Palestinians to become refugees in search of shelter. Where did they go? Many of these unfortunate individuals sought refuge in Lebanon, seeing it as a promised land. Over 300,000 Palestinians fled to southern Lebanon. Welcoming their neighbors in need was a commendable and humane act by Lebanon. However, a crucial detail here is that the leadership of the PLO under Yasser Arafat was also part of these refugees. This led to a shocking event in 1978. Provoked by attacks from Palestinian refugees in Lebanon on its northern border, the Israeli army launched a large-scale invasion into Lebanese territory. This assault, though brief due to a UN-brokered ceasefire, left significant consequences. Despite the UN ceasefire agreement, pro-Palestinian forces continued to remain in the area, violating the accord and using it as a base to attack Israel with rockets and artillery, as well as cross-border raids targeting Israeli civilians. On June 6, 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon again with the goal of eliminating the PLO. Israeli forces occupied areas from Ezet in southern Lebanon up to the outskirts of the capital, Beirut. Ignoring Israeli actions, a right-wing Christian faction in Lebanon, known as the Phalangists, entered the Sabra and Shatila refugee camps and carried out the Sabra and Shatila massacre. The Israeli military was later found complicit in supporting this crime against humanity. This event perhaps was the tipping point for the subsequent developments. The Party of God. In the dark days of the Lebanon War, Hezbollah was born. Hezbollah officially emerged in mid-1985 in Lebanon, while the country was deeply entangled in the Israeli invasion and torn apart by a brutal civil war that had erupted 10 years earlier. Hezbollah was founded by a faction with a jihadist ideology that split from the Amal movement, a political and armed Shia organization in Lebanon. Hezbollah in Arabic means Party of God. It was heavily influenced by the Islamic Revolution in Iran, led by Ayatollah Khomeini. Initially, Hezbollah was primarily an armed force with the slogan, Islamic resistance. Their clear objective was to liberate all Arab territories occupied by Israel. These territories include southern Lebanon, the Golan Heights of Syria, and Palestinian lands. This term is used to refer to the entire territory of Israel today, as they consider the creation of the State of Israel in 1948 as a seizure of Palestinian land. With this doctrine of resistance, Hezbollah considers it their right to fight until all occupied Arab territories are liberated. The party is adamant about retaining the right to bear arms, independent of the central government of Lebanon, despite international efforts to disarm their armed forces. Until the late 1990s, Hezbollah rejected participation in the Lebanese government because hardline Islamists viewed contemporary Arab governments as no longer truly Islamic. Hezbollah has been accused of numerous terrorist attacks, the most severe being the 1983 bombings of the U.S. Embassy in Beirut and the headquarters of U.S. and French troops in the international force, killing more than 300 people. The U.S. has designated Hezbollah as a terrorist organization, similar to Al-Qaeda and Hamas. Iran's pawn. Hezbollah's declaration of establishment on February 16, 1985, clearly states, "The party abides by the orders of a wise and just leadership, embodied in the homeland of faith, in Ruhollah Ayatollah Mousawi Khomeini, the person who launched the revolution of Muslim believers and revived their glorious era." In 1982, after Israel invaded Lebanon, Iran sent a contingent from their infamous Revolutionary Guards to Lebanon to fight alongside Lebanese forces. However, due to the ongoing war with Iraq initiated by Saddam Hussein in 1980, Supreme Leader Khomeini decided to train and equip young Lebanese Shiites to form a local armed force closely linked to Iran ideologically. Hezbollah was the perfect organization to execute this strategic plan of Iran's supreme leader. Some sources claim Hezbollah actually formed when the Iranian Revolutionary Guard entered Lebanon in 1982. Hujja al-Islam Ali Akbar Muhtashami, Iran's first ambassador to Syria, is credited with the idea of founding Hezbollah. He proposed the idea to Khomeini and directly and secretly implemented it, leading to Hezbollah's official emergence in 1985. Today, Hezbollah can be considered Iran's most powerful foreign card in its anti-Israel axis, which also includes Hamas and the Houthis. Objectively speaking, Hezbollah has demonstrated its capabilities, even surpassing Lebanon's central government. Overwhelming the government and Israel's greatest threat, Hezbollah participated in various phases of the Lebanese civil war, establishing significant military positions domestically. Currently, the party controls areas from southern Beirut's suburbs down to the southern border with Israel. In 1988, Hezbollah fiercely clashed with the Amal movement to assert its position within the Lebanese Shiite community. With comprehensive support from Iran and Syria, after Israel withdrew from southern Lebanon in 2000, Hezbollah became the core of the Lebanese resistance forces, firmly positioned in southern Lebanon, consistently posing a threat to Israel's northern border. In 2006, Israel aimed to eliminate Hezbollah with an all-out assault. However, the month-long conflict not only failed to eradicate Hezbollah, but backfired completely. The Jewish state had to endure thousands of rockets fired from Lebanon. This outcome elevated Hezbollah and its leader Hassan Nasrallah to hero status among the Arab and Muslim public. By 2008, Hezbollah's standing grew even more. They mobilized their armed forces to seize control of several areas in Beirut, traditionally dominated by Western-backed political groups. Hezbollah's power intimidated Lebanon's national army, preventing intervention. The Doha Agreement on May 21st of that year temporarily restored peace in Lebanon, with Hezbollah securing 1/3 of the cabinet seats. This number was sufficient for Hezbollah and its allies to paralyze any decision by the Lebanese government. Since then, Israel has faced the bitter consequences of its earlier actions against Lebanon. Now, Hezbollah is Israel's most formidable direct adversary, far surpassing Hamas. Hezbollah is significantly stronger than Hamas. This organization can strike the entirety of Israel with missiles and can even use ground forces to reach Haifa, a city of 300,000 people, just 50 kilometers from the border. Hezbollah has been using rockets, missiles, and UAVs to attack Israel almost daily since the Gaza Strip conflict erupted in October last year, showing solidarity with the Palestinians and Hamas, its ally in Iran's resistance axis. The Israeli army frequently retaliates against Hezbollah, but on a small scale and with restraint, to prevent a full-scale conflict. If a major war breaks out, Israel, with its world-class military capability, could quickly gain the upper hand against Hezbollah, similar to its operations in Gaza. However, experts warn that Tel Aviv will pay a high price if the conflict escalates and prolongs. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies based in the U.S., Hezbollah is the world's most powerful non-state military force, equipped with modern weaponry thanks to its allies like Iran and Syria. In simple terms, Hamas poses a tactical threat, while Hezbollah represents a strategic threat to the State of Israel. What are your thoughts on this issue? Let's discuss in the comments below. For now, goodbye and see you next time.